You have been racing the wrong person your entire life. Every single day, without realizing it, without questioning it, without ever stopping long enough to ask whether the race you are running is even the right one. You wake up, and before your eyes are fully open, before the coffee, before the first real thought of the day, your mind is already checking where other people are, checking what they have, checking how their life looks compared to yours, checking whether the gap between who they seem to be and who you actually are is growing or shrinking. And then you spend the rest of the day either chasing them or resenting them, feeling behind them or feeling superior to them, measuring every small win against what they have already built and every small loss against how effortlessly they seem to be succeeding. You have been doing this for years, and your life has not changed. There is a reason for that, and today we are going to get into it deeply, honestly, without softening it into something comfortable, because the truth about why you are stuck is not comfortable. It never is. But it is the only thing that will actually move you. Let's start here. The person you are competing with does not know you exist. Read that again. The person you wake up measuring yourself against, the one whose Instagram makes you feel behind, whose career makes you feel like you are wasting your potential, whose relationship or body or bank account or lifestyle sits in the back of your mind as the silent standard you are failing to meet, that person is not thinking about you. They are not checking your progress. They are not lying awake at night worried about whether you are catching up. They are living their life, building their thing, focused entirely on their own path, completely unaware that you have made them the measuring stick for your entire self-worth. And while you are watching them, obsessing over them, comparing yourself to the highlight reel of their existence, feeling inadequate because their curated, filtered, carefully selected public image makes your real, unfiltered life look lacking, you are not building anything. You are not moving. You are not growing. You are standing completely still with your eyes locked on someone else's lane while your own sits empty behind you. The race you were born to run, the specific, personal, meaningful race that only you can run, has been sitting there waiting. And every day you spend watching someone else run their race is another day your lane goes unused. That ends today. Because I am going to tell you something that is going to completely reframe the way you think about competition, about progress, about what it actually means to win at your own life. There is only one competition that has ever mattered, only one race that will determine the quality, the depth, the meaning of your life. Only one opponent who has the actual power to stop you, to hold you back, to keep you from becoming everything you are capable of becoming. That opponent is you. Not the person with the better job. Not the friend who bought the house first. Not the person on social media who seems to have figured out everything you are still struggling with. Not anyone out there in the world living a life that makes you feel like you are falling behind some invisible schedule that someone else set for you. You, the version of you from yesterday. The version of you that chose comfort when growth was available. The version of you that hit snooze when the alarm went off, that skipped the workout when the excuse was convenient, that put off the hard conversation for another week, that kept the dream on the shelf because starting felt too uncertain, too risky, too far from guaranteed. That version of you. The one that shows up in every moment of weakness, in every moment of avoidance, in every moment where you chose the path of least resistance, that is your competition. And it is the only competition worth showing up for every single day of your life. Here is what happens when you compete with the world. When you measure yourself against other people, when their success becomes the benchmark, when their timeline becomes the standard, when their life becomes the evidence of your failure, you hand them something they never asked for and do not deserve. You hand them control. Control over how you feel about yourself. Control over your confidence, your sense of worth, your belief in what is possible for you. You make your entire internal experience dependent on something completely outside your control. Someone else's choices, someone else's circumstances, someone else's timing, someone else's advantages, connections, lucky breaks, and inherited head starts that you know absolutely nothing about. And here is the cruelest part of that deal. You only see the result. You see where they are now and you compare it to where you are now. You have no idea what they went through to get there. You have no idea how long the journey actually took before the version of it that you see was visible. You have no idea how many times they failed, how many nights they doubted everything, how many moments they came within inches of giving up before something shifted and the momentum changed. You are comparing your entire reality to a highlight reel. Your full behind the scenes, every mistake visible, every struggle felt, every insecurity active against their greatest hits collection. And then you use that comparison to conclude something about your worth. That is not a fair fight. It was never a fair fight. And the only way to stop losing it is to stop playing it. Because even when you win that comparison, even when you find someone who has achieved less, built less, progressed less than you, it doesn't actually help you. It just makes you temporarily comfortable. It gives you permission to coast. It hands you an excuse to stop pushing because at least you're ahead of someone. That is not progress. That is stagnation dressed up as satisfaction. And it is one of the most dangerous places a driven person can land, comfortable enough to stop, not fulfilled enough to feel like they've actually arrived. The comparison trap has two exits, and both of them lead to the same place. Either you feel behind and it paralyzes you, or you feel ahead and it comforts you to complacency. Either way, you stop moving. Either way, the real race goes unrun. Drop it. All of it. Right now. The only comparison that has ever moved anyone forward is the comparison between who they were yesterday and who they are today. The only race worth running is the one against the previous version of yourself. The only win that matters, the only one that builds something real inside you, is being further along today than you were this time last week, this time last month, this time last year. That is the race. And it is the hardest race you will ever run. Because your previous self knows you completely. It knows every excuse you have ever used, knows every wall you have ever stopped at, knows exactly how to make quitting feel not just acceptable, but responsible, knows the precise combination of fatigue and doubt and distraction that has worked on you before, and will use it again. Beating that version of yourself requires something that competing with the world never requires. It requires radical honesty. Not the kind of honesty you perform for other people. Not the curated vulnerability you share when it makes you look self-aware. Real honesty. The kind you only have access to in private. In the quiet moments when there is no audience and no benefit to lying and no one to impress with a more flattering version of the truth. The kind of honesty that looks at yesterday, the full, unedited, no excuses version of yesterday, and asks not what happened to me, but what did I choose? What did I do? What did I not do? Where did I show up and where did I find a reason not to? Where did I push and where did I fold? Most people cannot sustain that level of honesty because it removes every escape route. When you are competing with other people, the external explanations are always available. They had advantages you did not have. The circumstances were different. The playing field was not level. Someone helped them. Someone held you back. When you were competing with yourself, when the only benchmark is the previous version of you who had the same 24 hours, the same body, the same mind, the same basic capacity to choose, none of those explanations hold. The only question is what you did with what you had. And you already know the answer. You have always known the answer. That is the part that stings. So what does it actually look like to commit to this race? To make the competition between you and yesterday's version of yourself the center of how you live? It starts with the morning. Not because morning is magic, it is not, but because the morning is where the previous version of you has the most power. The alarm goes off, and before you are fully conscious, before the rational part of your brain has fully come online, the pattern fires. The habit runs. The default behavior executes without your permission. And the default behavior, for most people, built over years of repetition, is to hit snooze, to stay comfortable, to give the body what it is asking for instead of what it needs, to start the day by immediately choosing yesterday over today. That one decision, that single moment between the alarm and your feet hitting the floor, sets the tone for everything that follows. Not because the universe is keeping score, because you are. Somewhere underneath everything, you register it. You know whether the first choice of the day was made by the person you were trying to become or the person you were trying to leave behind. And that registration, that quiet internal accounting, affects everything downstream. Every choice that follows carries the weight of the first one. When you win that first moment, you carry that win into the next decision and the one after that. And the momentum builds. Not dramatically, not in a way anyone else can see, but it builds. And when you lose that first moment, when you stay in bed, when you choose the comfort, when the previous version of you wins the first round, that loss carries too. The next hard choice is slightly harder. The next moment of resistance is slightly easier to give into. The day compounds in the direction of the first decision. This is why the morning matters. Not because of some mystical productivity principle, because it is the first battle of the day between who you were and who you are becoming. And the outcome of that battle shapes everything that follows. But here is what I need you to understand about that battle, and about every battle like it throughout the day. It does not get easier. Not in the way most people hope it will. The resistance does not disappear. The previous version of you does not give up and go away because you have beaten it a few times. What changes is not the difficulty of the battle. What changes is your relationship to the difficulty. You stop being surprised by it. You stop interpreting the hardness as a sign that something is wrong, that you are not meant for this, that the people who seem to do it effortlessly must have something you do not have.
You start to expect the resistance. You start to recognize it. The exact feeling of wanting to stop, the exact flavor of the excuse that sounds most convincing in that moment, and instead of responding to it the way you always have, you use it as a signal. This is the moment, right here. This is exactly the moment where yesterday's version of me would have stopped. This is the moment I am going to win today. And then you keep going. That is the entire practice. Not complex, not mysterious, not requiring any special talent or gift or circumstance, just the daily, repeated, unglamorous choice to keep going past the point where you used to stop. Rep by rep, day by day. The distance between who you were and who you are grows, slowly, invisibly to anyone watching from the outside, but you feel it in the way you carry yourself, in the quiet confidence that builds not from what others say about you, but from what you know about yourself, from the private knowledge that you are someone who keeps their word, who shows up, who does not fold when the previous version of them shows up and makes a compelling case for quitting. That knowledge, earned, not given, built through action, not through affirmation, is the foundation of everything real you will ever build. Now I want to talk about something that happens when you fully commit to competing only with yourself. Something that most people do not expect and that completely transforms the way you move through the world. When you genuinely stop competing with other people, not as a performance, not as something you say while still secretly keeping score, something in you gets quiet. The constant low-grade noise of comparison, the background hum of not enoughness that you have been living with for so long you stopped noticing it, it fades. And in that quiet, you start to see other people differently. Their success stops being a threat. Someone getting the thing you want stops feeling like evidence that there is less of it available for you. Someone moving faster on their path stops making you feel behind on yours. Because you have genuinely understood, not just intellectually but in your bones, that you are not in the same race. You never were. And when their success stops being a threat, it becomes something else entirely. It becomes evidence, proof, the most powerful kind of motivation there is. Not the artificial, temporary motivation that comes from a speech or a video, but the deep, sustained motivation that comes from seeing someone do the thing you are working toward and knowing, with certainty, that it is real, that it is possible, that the distance between where you are and where you want to be can actually be closed. Other people's wins stop being reminders of your failures and start being proof of what is available to those who do the work. That reframe, that complete shift in how you relate to the success of people around you, frees up an enormous amount of energy. Energy that was being spent on resentment, on comparison, on the exhausting mental labor of keeping score against people who did not know they were competing with you. All of that energy comes back to you, and it is yours to use for the only thing that actually matters: building. Let me say something about the long game here, because everything we have talked about, the daily practice, the morning battle, the reframe around other people's success, all of it compounds over time in a way that is almost impossible to fully describe until you've lived it. The person who commits, genuinely, completely, without reservation, for 5 years straight does not look like a slightly improved version of who they are today. They are almost unrecognizable. Not because anything dramatic happened, not because they caught a lucky break or found a shortcut or stumbled into some advantage that others did not have, because they showed up every day for the only competition that was ever real. And over 5 years of daily small wins over the previous version of themselves, the gap between who they were and who they became is so vast that the starting point is almost unimaginable from where they stand. That is what consistency in the right race builds. And the inverse is equally true. The person who spends 5 years watching other people's races, measuring themselves against the wrong standard, showing up inconsistently because their motivation depends on how they feel compared to someone else, after 5 years, they are in almost exactly the same place. Maybe slightly further along, maybe slightly behind, but the distance covered is nowhere near what was possible. Same 5 years, completely different outcomes, not because of talent or luck or circumstance, because of which race they chose to run. You get to choose right now, in this moment, not eventually, not after you think about it, right now. The old race, the one against everyone else, the one you can never actually win because it has no finish line and no rules, and the competition is infinite and constantly shifting, or the only race that was ever yours. You versus yesterday, every day for the rest of your life. I want to close with this, and I need you to actually hear it, not just process it, not just let it pass through your mind on its way to being forgotten, but actually sit with it. The version of you that is possible, the fully realized, disciplined, self-trusting, fully alive version of you is not some distant fantasy. It's not a different person with different genetics or different circumstances or a different life. It is you on the other side of the daily work of beating the previous version of yourself. It is you after years of choosing today over yesterday, growth over comfort, the race that is yours over the race that was never yours to run. That person is reachable, not through one dramatic transformation, through the accumulation of small daily wins in the only competition that counts, you versus you. Nobody else gets a vote. Nobody else sets the standard. Nobody else determines whether you won today. Only you. And tomorrow morning when the alarm goes off, when it's early and dark and the bed is warm and everything in you wants to choose comfort over growth one more time, I need you to remember one thing. Yesterday's version of you is counting on you to stay. Do not. Get up, show up, win the day. And then do it again tomorrow. That's the race. It always has been. Now, go run it.